So, essentially, nothing was gained, nothing was learned. Education should be liberating, should be useful and meaningful, should consolidate your autonomy. Education in America is not liberating, not even in America, the liberal arts institutions. So it only makes sense to seek out and identify structures of authority, hierarchy, and domination in every aspect of life, and to challenge them unless the justification for them can be given. They are illegitimate, should be dismantled to increase the scope of human freedom. Noam Chomsky. December 7th, 2013, last year he celebrated his 85th birthday. If he makes it to December 7th of this year, he'll be 86. So he keeps clinging on. I'm kind of mad he never become president, but I guess we do need, like, our theorist, right? Our philosopher kings. Rudolf Eichstein was a German refugee from Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany, and since he had a front row seat to the aims of fascism, Eichstein explores what the fascist beast precisely is, and he offers policy recommendations for what America can do to avoid those same pitfalls. Rudolf Eichstein knows the enemy, and that enemy is fascism, and his slogans of independence for suppressed nations and his real deeds. So he knows the enemy. He came out of Germany, Nazi Germany, and the enemy is fascism. It's fucking fascism. Rudolf Eichstein admits that Europeans did a bad job at defending the culture of our fatherland, defending the freedom of creed, political opinion, free press, and free speech, freedom of religion, and national minorities. So Rudolf Eichstein's a German who is recognizing that the German people and the German nation did not do a good job at checking these fascist fucking institutions. They were watching Hitler fucking rise, and then nobody did a single thing about it. Sort of like the KKK in America. People watched them, do the things that they did, but nobody stopped them. Rudolf Eichstein then proceeds to precisely define fascism as he saw it, a first-person narrative. So what is fascism, right? Well, Hitler is forcing everybody in Germany, Austria, and Czechoslovakia to obediently sing a song by kindergarten children, school children, boys and girls. Make sure you sing a pledge, or not a pledge, but like a rhythmic, like, sing-along song. The kindergartners, the school children, boys, girls, Nazi youth, stormtroopers, policemen, soldiers, war veterans, and even war cripples would be singing. Everybody in the government, right? Everybody. The fascist song ends with all the Nazis singing gloriously, "We shall go marching on, even though everything has fallen to pieces. Today, Germany belongs to us. Tomorrow, the whole world." So, let's keep on marching. We shall go on marching, even though all has fallen to pieces. Today, Germany belongs to us. Tomorrow, the whole world. Rudolf Eichstein. Eichstein continues. The educational goal of fascism is to have the youth willing for marching, fighting, killing, even though all has fallen to pieces. The whole population in fascist states has to be ready for war when the leader orders. Fascism divides the strong from the weak. The strong half keeps on marching, fighting, killing, while the weak half are murdered in concentration camps. The youth has to be prepared physically and mentally to obey blindly the so-called leader. Obey blindly, 100% compliance. Just like teach like a champion, 100% compliance. That is what is a leading theorist in the educational field in America today. Doug Lamothe, teach like a champion. He wants 100% compliance. Blindly obey the so-called leader. Adolf Hitler wants the youth to suppress all intellectual impulses and to revive all aggressive, destroying instincts in young people. The government uses their absolute power to force all children into their schools, all youth organizations, all kindergartners, all educational institutional institutions must be in the hands of the government. No private school, no religious school, no free school organizations of the workers. They must not think because the leaders think it for them. They should not dare to be independent individuals to look for the truth. They're not supposed to have their own opinion or their own faith. Fascist education requires the mini dictator professor to remain autocratic with absolute power. He uses all of his power to produce fear and anxiety in every individual, to suppress every independent emotion, to destroy all independent thinking. The teacher is not the children's helpful friend who tries as far as possible to work by intellectual means, but the powerful authority who has to revive all aggressive emotions, gigantic fear, the single individual before the power of his leaders, great and small. The people want peace, democracy, freedom, independence, and fascism seeks to curb those impulses through lies, suppression, propaganda, intolerance, aggression against helpless people, fear, and concentration camps. Fascists believe in strict pyramidal patriarchal hierarchy. Fascists want people always being little children in fear of the powerful, severe father and hoping that he will help and be willing to follow him blindly. Whereas democracy wants free children, liberated people, free persons, able to think and to act alone, able to protect themselves and to defend the liberty of their own people. Fascist oppressors use all means in family life and school and recreation time not to educate the people to become grown-ups, but to remain helpless, fearful, minor children. It is much easier to keep people immature and childish in mind than to go the long way of real education and the way of democracy. Fascist oppressors conquered at first the heart to kill the brain, to destroy free thinking and free action. At first, the heart to kill the brain. Fascists appeal to brute animalism in children. All healthy boys like more or less warlike games, uniforms, guns, danger, and secret groups. All children in certain periods of their lives are very aggressive. This is only natural, and the task of education is to change these dangerous wishes to an attitude useful for our society. Fascists honor men of war, but democracy honors the true heroes, the scientists, explorers, inventors, the writers, the artists, all together working for peace and freedom. So democracy is not yet finished and will never be finished. Democracy is an attitude to come near to the final goal we see, humanity. By teaching our children to make their own decisions and use their own consciences, we see that the pangs of conscience are a better protection for our society and our morality than the strongest laws. So by teaching morality and ethics, by their own pangs of consciousness, I'm not going to force my kid to just be a dumb order taker. I want them to know what is right and from wrong, at the very least, just so they can get away from danger if they're in danger. They need to understand that there are people out there that will do them harm, just as like there are people out there that will do good. So you can't, trust anybody and everybody, but we do need to love humanity. By teaching our children to make their own decisions and use their own consciences, this is again Rudolf Eichstein. By using their own conscience, we see the pangs of conscience are a better protection of our society and our morality than the strongest laws. All children are artists. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. Pablo Picasso. We get educated out of creativity. Sir Ken Robinson. Exercise of the body is important to integrate into education. A feeble body has a feeble mind. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. It is courageous to defend the liberty of every member of this nation. It is courageous to destroy all remainders of inequality between the different groups in our nation. It is courageous and dangerous to work on the skyscrapers, on the great bridges, and to build great dams. It is courageous to decide independently, to think and to act as a free man. It is not courageous to follow a leader blindly like a small child. It is not courageous to beat and torment helpless people. We got real ideas for our children. It is right to love, to trust, to imitate men, like the American officer who recently brought medicine on the airplane to the population of Chile after the earthquake. What he did was more courageous and better than to drop bombs on poor helpless Ethiopians. It is more courageous to risk one's life exploring the South Pole and to fight alone against nature than to destroy the churches of defenseless and peaceful people. It is more courageous and better to fight for the freedom of slaves than to burn scientific books and to close scientific institutions. The lives of our great inventors, explorers, writers are much more thrilling than the life of a watchdog in a concentration camp. Our children should understand that democracy means also, if necessary, to defend with all means our freedom, and that a free and prepared nation cannot be defeated. Freedom and democracy, is that what America's about? Do we actually value these things, or are those just watchwords, just, you know, some words we throw around and say, hey, well, really, it's a fascist fucking hellhole, but who gives a shit, right? We got a decent job, we're making decent money, you know, our life seems to be okay. It seems like there's a never-ending gravy train. This gravy train isn't going to stop. Page 6. Recently, I attended an orientation about the student teaching I'm required to do in the spring. This is Spalding University. This is Kristen Harris, the fucking fat, ugly, just disgusting, nasty, she's, I don't know, it's almost as if you could imagine Mitch McConnell and Jabba the Hutt, okay? Put Jabba the Hutt, the size of Jabba the Hutt and disgusting ugliness and the bland, boring, you know, ness of Mitch McConnell. That's Kristen Harris of Spalding University. Okay, so I'm at this orientation and they called it 3 weeks earlier, right, to get us in so they could put their oppression right on us. And they put us 3 weeks early before classes was even to begin to make sure that we were oppressed. So as a student teacher, I'm going to be co-teaching with a teacher already hired on at a school. And this is Julie Chancellor, right, the fucking Nazi. And all throughout the lecture is pointed out that there was no hierarchy. There wasn't going to be any hierarchy between the two teachers. Instead, we're going to be a dynamic duo. While Kentucky law is making strides to prevent one teacher from dominating another teacher with the co-teaching model, they haven't worked on the hierarchy between the teachers and the students. So I'm very much like the co-teaching model, but we still have a hierarchy between teachers and students. Education should be for liberation, not oppression. On every level of the American education system, the students are required to submit themselves to their teachers by sitting down quietly at their desk in their assigned seats, to not talk to each other, and to just blindly follow orders. All orders, as the Nazi soldiers were brainwashed to do, to lose our souls, to lose our humanity, just as they had done. They want they want us to just keep on marching even though everything is falling to pieces. The oppressor prances around all proud with an undeserved arrogant smugness, as if their PowerPoints are that special, as if they're actually educating anybody, as if their oppressive tactics aren't being harmful to the child's overall development and their real education. Classrooms are supposed to be safe and positive spaces for learning, right? Safe, positive, and engaging learning environment for Barbara Foster. Yet Barbara Foster had an oppressive classroom. That wasn't safe. That wasn't positive. She, you know, did group work and then says, well, you can't sit with who you want to. You know, just stupid oppressor bullshit. And it's like almost challenging your, you know, your dignity and your place in this world with the sort of the idea that do you want to lose all your money? Do you want to, you know, I got the ability to kick you out. So if you go too far, we know where that can go, right? And so that's how they come in. In fact, it's a rule to not smile for the first 3 months, right? Because you just want to be able to put power on people. Julie Chancellor, her rule was you must yell at the students. You must yell at the students. That's a rule for her. If you are a student teacher and you come in, you must yell at them. That's something that is just, you know, do unto others, love one another, love your neighbor, you know, do not steal, do not kill, do not rape, and yell at the children. That's Julie Chancellor from Valley High School in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm sitting in this orientation meeting. This is at the EGAL Learning Center, the auditorium right there on in the middle of Spalding University, right? So this is with Jennifer Mangio, and all the people invited their teachers, and so there's a lot of things. There's cheeses and shit. And I walk in, and Jennifer Mangio was giving her performance. I walk in, and I run into Pat Todd, who is responsible for Louisville, Meredith v. Jefferson County Board of Education, to where Louisville is going to go for segregation. And actually, she was being real nice to me, and she was saying, "Are you sure?" to Kristen Harris that she knew what she was talking about. When Kristen Harris told me that the person sitting in the front row was telling was the person that I was assigned to student teach with. So this piece of shit, fucking nobody asshole, starts lying to me. The very first moment that I met Kristen Harris, she lies, okay? And the only reason she fucking lied to me was just because she wanted to put the control over me. She wanted to have the power, and she had, you know, pointed to the fucking front row, and I walked to the front row, talked to the guy. I smelled like smoke, so the guy's probably like, what the fuck is this guy about? Asked him what was going on, if he was going to be my guy, and he was kind of like, no, and I was kind of like, well, shit. I just walked in front of, you know, her presentation, and here I'm sitting next to a guy that I was supposed to be working with. Now I'm in the front row. I can't just get up and, like, just, you know, call it quits. Well, I tried. And after, once I was able to talk with Pat Todd and level with her, she seemed like a decent person afterwards, and I felt so much more comfortable with her. It seems as though they have to hold on to that fear and power until the very end. America's Liberation, Education 6. I wrote this and I published. I turned it into Elisabeth Rogers before I even did any of this stuff. But this was, you know, these are some of my experiences. You want to know how I feel about things? Well, she was putting fucking whips on, right? And maybe I think it becomes more and more apparent. I don't know if she's a sexist racist that believes white women should control over everybody, or if my freedom and democracy message just insults and mocks her entire fucking worthless, useless fucking life. Fuck Elisabeth Rogers. She's a piece of shit. Fuck Julie Chancellor. And let's get free. Let's learn some democracy. They ain't teaching us democracy.